Hey, it's Robert again. I'm in the studio. Going to talk about my painting at Rest. I'm getting ready to send out my spring newsletter and realize that I haven't done a video update or any type of video for this painting. So I thought I'd talk a little bit about the evolution of the painting, how it started, and where it's going. First of all, the painting's second largest painting I've done to date. I'm always asked what this is. It's the hub of a gristmill. The gristmill's in Aldie, Virginia. It's a really small old town. If you hold your breath, you'll miss the town going down. I think it's Route 50 up in Northern Virginia. So it's the hub of a gristmill. The way this piece came about was my brother used to live up in Purcellville, Virginia, and I was up there visiting him, and then I drove through this little town and saw the old building there, and decided to stop and went in the back of it, and there's this watermill. If you know, those of you who know my work, it's architectural. I love architectural, and this wheel just spoke to me, and I whipped out the camera and started taking pictures and getting reference material, and went and visited my brother and came home. Probably sat on the photos for probably 6 to 9 months. Got back around to looking at them and decided that I wanted to go ahead and paint it. I needed to find a bird, and this is one of those rare incidents that everything just fell together. I have a database of all my photos, thousands and thousands of photos, and I always match the year, the time of year, with each photo, the environment and the subject. They gotta work together, and then also the time of day and the lighting. They all have to work together. So I'm looking for a bird to sit on the hub here, and lo and behold, my search brings up this mourning dove, and it's sleeping. And I just thought it was a great contradiction of what is supposed to be happening at this watermill. Watermills are constantly turning, making a bunch of racket, and just there's just noise and movement going on. And here I have this little sleeping dove, because of course the mill's not working that day. So that right there, that worked spectacular for me, that I was able to marry the subject matter with the environment that I've chosen, and it just worked out really well. And then from this I have the repetition of the spoke wheels, which I love it. Just repetition in paintings and drawings, just to me, that excites me. It brings me into the piece and gets me involved. And then of course you have all these diagonals, and they all point to the subject matter, which is the mourning dove. So compositionally, this is one of my probably best paintings to date. I love all the texture of the writing, the nuts and bolts, the rust in here, just fantastic. So basically, this painting was painted late 2005, finished up in 2006, I believe. That point in time, I was not showing, not exhibiting, nothing. I was just puttering along, trying to get stuff going. So I needed some more reference material of the wheel for the nuts and bolts here. And I went back up to my brother's house, and as I drove by the mill, up on the mill it says art show. I'm like, wow. So I stopped and found out the information, and I entered that show, and I got this painting done in time. And this painting went to that art show. And it was just a little regional art show. It was the Aldi Art Melon show, and that was the first, I believe, the first art show I have ever done. So I was pretty pleased with myself, and it was pretty exciting. from that, as many of you may know, this painting at Rest was in the 2007 Birds and Art, which is the most prestigious exhibition that I consider myself that I can be in. That exhibition and this painting marks the beginning of my career. It's as the first time I have ever entered any museum exhibition, and I entered it, and luckily enough, fortunate enough, and honored enough that At Rest was chosen for the 2007 Birds and Art. So there it was. I sent it off, went to the museum exhibition, just fell in love with the Lee Yawkey Art Museum and Birds and Art, and I saw what being an artist could be. And from that day, probably for the rest of my career, I will always mark my progress, my work, by that feeling that I got from that exhibition. So from that, the piece was returned to me, and did a couple other shows with it, and then it ended up at Lovett's Gallery in Tulsa, Oklahoma, where it found a home with a collector. It was actually quite a nice story. The wife bought the painting in secret for her husband, who loves the piece, and he had no idea that she was buying it for him. So I thought that was great. You know, such a wonderful painting, and it ended up to a great couple that I actually fortunately met not too long ago, and it's just a great story. So from there, the 50th anniversary or 50th annual Society of Animal Artists exhibit's coming up, and I really wanted to go to the exhibit, so I made the decision to ask the owners of the piece, the collectors, if it would be okay to enter this piece in, because of course if it gets in, it has to go to the museum, and then there's a chance that it could go for the year-long tour. So they were gracious enough and honored enough to say yes, and it got in. So now it's back at Lovett's Gallery, getting ready to be put back in its crate and shipped off to San Diego for the 50th annual Society of Animal Artists exhibition at the San Diego Natural History Museum. So the evolution of this painting is far-reaching. To this day, I still, whenever somebody sees it in my portfolio, I'm always like, that's my baby. That's my painting. So I love the painting at Rest, and from Birds and Art, or from the little beginning to Birds and Art to finding a home with a collector, going to San Diego for the SAA show. That's the evolution of At Rest. I hope you can make it out to San Diego and get to see it in person. So thank you, and talk to you soon.